Hey guys, welcome back to Ultima Games. Timon here again with another state of play in 2024. Is this our first? This is our first podcast of 2024.
Second.
Right? Okay, cool.
We hit our bi-weekly goal.
Awesome. So yeah, as you know, here at my buddy Cruz as usual.
Howdy.
And today we're talking about state of play. Sorry if I sound bad. I'm kind of getting the cold, but whatever. We still decided to record. Yeah, state of play. The first one of Sony. This is an interesting one because it's going to be either a really angry rant or this could have really been something. What were your thoughts, Cruz? I think the first thing they showed off was Helldivers 2. They've been showing that off quite a bit.
Do not care. That is no disrespect to the game. I hate when you can't say do not care and people think you think it's shit or something like that. Like, no,
Fair.
dude, I don't care.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I played the first Helldivers on Vita. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It was cool. I'm glad to see it coming back again. It's definitely fun. I'm definitely interested. I'll try it. I don't know if I'll pay full price for it as soon as it comes out. I'll probably wait till it goes on sale. But we'll see what's up. Still, of course, clearing the backlog, but
Yeah.
that's how it goes. Interesting game. Everything it looks solid. I don't have too many complaints about it per se. But yeah, comes out this year, February 8th. So that's like next week, pretty much. So yeah, as of this time of recording, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, since that one was really quick, the next one should be a little bit better. Stellar Blade got a release date.
Nice.
April 24th of this year. This game has been through a little bit of development hell, a little bit.
Kind of. It's been juggled, from what I understand, from different developers. Like, at one point, it even went to Platinum Games for a little bit, but then bounced back. So,
Yeah.
not sure with that. At least it's finally coming out. I know it's called Stellar Blade, but jokingly, I want to call it like 2B Booty 2 Electric Boogaloo, because there was a lot of booty focus on the main chick, but it is what it is. I'm not even saying that to be crass. Like, I'm a butt man. Like, I like anime chicks' butts, but like,
Right.
outside of that, like, I was thinking about what you said earlier as we were watching it. Like, the art style is very indecisive. Like, it looks fine. It looks next gen, but it's just it's on the boundary line between realistic and anime, and it's just like not sure how to feel.
Yeah.
Like, pretty sure gameplay looks solid. It looks like Astral Chain or some other, or like, earlier Nier Automata, but it's like I don't know, just something about it is like it doesn't sit right with me subjectively.
Yeah. As far as like the game goes, I mean, art style is kind of out there, but I mean, it's not terrible. I'm just curious as to whether or not this game has a story worth me playing through. Also, the price of this game, as far as I know, it's going to be $70. I'm not for sure on it. I haven't looked it up too much, but games are $70 now, so that's just the norm. And I should have checked, but that's just how it goes when it comes to these kind of things. Excuse the pause. It was a friggin' motorcycle. My window's open. I shouldn't have left it open. But anywho, yeah,
Price.
Stellar Blade looks interesting. As long as the story's good, I'll play it. And yeah, I'm very interested in that game to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I know you're just dying to get to the next game though. Yeah, Sonic X Shadow Generations.
Yes, sir.
From Sega. It's coming out in autumn 2024 of this year. Cruz, I'm just gonna leave this up to you, man, because you're the Sega expert at this point.
Yeah, just Sonic at most, but yeah, I'll take that too. That's more appreciative. Yeah, it's a remaster, potentially remake of Sonic Generations. When Sonic was on his like upgoing renaissance back in the 2010s, early 2010s, because first we had Sonic Colors, then we had Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing, their Mario Kart take, and then after that we had Sonic Generations.
Right.
It was the end of at the time what we thought was gonna be the Boost trilogy with Unleashed, Colors, and Generations. Generations is really fun, dude. Like, yeah, it's a short game. Like, you can technically blaze through it from start to finish in like about 4 or 6 hours, but it's the solid, good 4 or 6 hours with all the classic stages for the first time. I mean, or at least at that time, remade and reimagined for the first time. The shadow content looks so good. Look, I know it's a fucking guilty pleasure. No lie. Shadow the Hedgehog is a guilty pleasure for me. I don't care how janky that shit is. The songs of that shit went hard.
Right.
It took itself so seriously, but you know what? It was kind of charming. Like, it knows it's trying to be edgy.
Yeah, they didn't hold back at all when they were doing it.
But it was like, you can't get mad at it for being that kind of edgy. It's
right.
like,
and that opening from that GameCube version of the game, phenomenal.
It's like, so I'm excited for it. And the fact, like, honestly, the moment I saw Black Doom show up for like 5 seconds, like, yo, and then the Bio Lizard from Adventure 2 was like, yo,
They're on it.
it has no right to be as cheesy, but you know what? You know for a fact they're doing this to hype up the third movie coming out this year.
Oh heck yeah!
So
and it's all lining up perfectly.
I'll take it. I don't care. Like, as long as they don't fuck up the ports, that's all that matters. Just
they'll be fine. As far as I know, it's coming on everything.
Yep,
right? Which is awesome.
And it was a 360 game. Just please don't fuck it up.
I'm sure they won't. It looks too good for them to be messing up, and it's great to see something like this come back. Especially one of the few people who liked actually Shadow the Hedgehog when it came out on GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that game's gonna be the shit, and there's no doubt about it. And I love the logo. Logo's awesome.
Oh yeah, the fucking the fact that they went that extra mile for everybody, having the little Shadow the Hedgehog fucking O with his like the original logo. That was sick. That was
right.
Mwah, fucking chef's kiss.
Right. I think after this, they would do. I'm pretty sure they would go pretty hard with this. At least one or two good games.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I can't wait to get my hands on it. Everything about it just looked great. There was like no complaint. This is probably the best thing about the whole event itself, was probably this announcement, without a doubt. But we have other games. These next few are going to be really hard to talk about, just because
I want to spotlight one just for the sake of it. Look, it's a late port to the PlayStation 5, which is still weird. It's getting Dave the Diver, and that was already on PC and Switch last year. But I'm only throwing this out there because they're getting Godzilla DLC. I love Godzilla. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. I don't know how that's going to work. I never played this game. I personally have no interest in it, honestly, at this point in time.
That's fine. I just wanted to give Godzilla a shout out.
Yeah. I mean, that was literally the next game on the list, but
never mind.
So you're perfect.
I wasn't sure if the list was going to include that because it was just a port, so I don't know if they would actually like bring it up like that.
Yeah, it's like Dave the Diver and like X Dredge, which I assume is the code word for fucking.
Oh, that was a previous crossover. It had a crossover with another indie game. So
okay,
yeah,
that makes sense.
Now they're getting Godzilla crossover stuff, which is dope.
Right. Yeah. Another elephant in the room with this, event, which again it was great in some aspects, but in others it wasn't. Is Foam Stars, PlayStation's
Splatoon.
Splatoon. Yeah.
Look, the guy gets so mad, or the team, or the guy, I don't know who it is, but he got so mad getting it compared to Splatoon. But dude, it's
literally that.
It's Splatoon.
It is.
And it's cool that's going to be free on PlayStation Plus, but let's be real, I don't think anybody would have paid $60 for this shit up front.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. This was literally a passion project just for Square Enix to get it out the door. I don't know why they'd even bother. Not to be a jerk, but it's just focus on Final Fantasy, okay? You're still doing fucking Final Fantasy VII Remake for the last, 5-6 years now? And you're only on part 2? Get to work. Like, I don't want to sound like a dick, but I don't care about Foam Stars. It looks boring. Our style's whack.
It's just one of those live service games that's going to be fun for like a year or so, and then it's going to die.
Yeah, they didn't even choose like the best art style they could have went with. This was an anime slam dunk waiting to happen. Like, you could have done that and then been done with it. But, nope. I mean, they decided to go with this weird
And if
thing.
people don't remember, they admitted themselves, they used some AI to somewhere in this game. And for all you AI haters, hey, I'm with you. I'm not saying that, but that's another reason for us not to check this game out.
I'm so sick of seeing AI stuff everywhere. It's everywhere right now, and it's
gross.
It's just weird. And I thought people would have been just like, yeah, this is kind of whack, or it'd been like a temporary phase or whatever. But it's sticking around. People are loving it, which is crazy to me. But I mean, hey, I guess to make anything easier. Next on the list, since we're getting off topic, is V Rising, that base building vampire game. I assume that's what the V stood for, was vampire.
It looked neat, but I need more info.
Yeah, I definitely like to see more from this game. Gameplay in the trailer looks solid. Your base building, there's combat, of course, in the form of Diablo. You got the top overhead view, which is strange for this kind of game, but I mean, I guess it works. I'm very curious to see what they do once they, really put out more trailers and more gameplay, and how's it really going to handle. And
yeah,
I wonder how people are going to take this game.
This felt like a little vertical slice to show you what to expect, but it's like it's interest. It's got my interest, but like I need more.
Yeah. Understandable. And it's funny you made that Castlevania joke about it too, because Castlevania's kind of been everywhere right now. And I would have been like, if this would have been Castlevania, this probably would have been a lot more hype.
It would have turned more heads, definitely.
Yeah.
And there's no disrespect to like, them doing their own thing, but like it gave me a little bit of Castlevania vibes because of how it was definitely like the medieval horror fantasy, but with a little bit of goofiness into it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised it wasn't some kind of Castlevania game. Didn't have to be. It was like,
Yeah.
it gave me those vibes.
Yeah. Top-down games in general, though, have been on the rise. Just like how Dark Souls gameplay formula has been. I mean, even adopted in other games, which isn't bad, but it's just like I love seeing that. It's something different compared to like Stellar Blade, which is like not a bad game, but it's just you see where the inspiration's coming from in this. But with this, it's a little bit different. It's got a little more flavor to it, and I can't wait to. I want to try it. I'll see. At first, I wasn't really feeling it, but the more I looked at it, I was kind of like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Next on the list will be Silent Hill. Now, not Silent Hill 2, but Silent Hill: The Short Message, which is a free-to-play game. You can play it right now. As soon as that trailer was shown, it was already out and available. So
it was pretty much their shadow drop.
Yeah, basically, I assume this is them experimenting with the first-person aspect of horror games, just like Resident Evil did for a while,
and
how
PT
they're doing now, and PT, of course.
Like, I know PT wasn't the originator, but like, we got way back in the day. If we want to, want to nitpick, I guess we could say that Amnesia was the one that really put that style first-person horror on the map. But yeah, like, I mean, it looks very interesting. I mean, I can't really, if it's free, it's a short game. It gives me the PT vibes. It's just a matter of like how it is.
Yeah, thank God it's free, because it would have been really weird if Hill 2 remake was first person. I think people would have lost their shit for that.
I remember during the Silent Hill broadcast they did like a few years ago when they first announced 2 remake, it wasn't, so I already knew. But what I got concerned was this was gonna be like a tacked on VR mode for Silent Hill 2. But luckily it's not. Luckily this isn't a VR game either. It's just a free short mini game to play that's out right now.
Yeah, which is really cool because it shows that they're trying new things while not like screwing gamers over. Of course, it's free, can't get mad at that. And they're definitely trying new things, and Silent Hill F is nowhere near in this. So if you're thinking that you're gonna see or hear us talk about it, there's no way it's in here.
We're still a long ways from that. I'm assuming that's not gonna be. We're not gonna touch any news on that until 2 remake is done.
Yeah,
and that's fine. I'd rather Konami take their times, do baby steps, since they're finally getting their comfort zone, because they were in pachinko for so fucking long.
Right.
So it's only a matter of time. We're going to see more stuff come out of them, but baby steps.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I mean, I'd rather be drip fed than just get everything all at once. It kind of dilutes everything, especially when you have something big like Silent Hill 2 remake coming up, which honestly looks phenomenal. Like, that game looks great. Like, damn.
Oh yeah, 100%. Silent Hill 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. Like, I played it several years ago now, and I never experienced 2 when it first came out. I was too scared of survival horror games as a kid. And then one day, me and an ex played through the first 3 games, and it hit different. Like, I think we played them back to back. And as a quick little ranking of the games I did play, 1 is my favorite. I want to say, that's tough actually. 1 is the scariest. 2 is my favorite overall, and 3 I think has the best gameplay. If that makes sense for fans, but I'm excited for this. I know they have a solid team who's good at, let's just say, like, competent when it comes to the engine, gameplay, and all this other stuff. But
right.
I've heard some controversies with the team that's making it. Luckily, they're not touching the story. It's all like under the hood gameplay stuff. That's all they're focusing on. The original Silent Hill story and everything about it is intact. I do know that there's a bonus Pyramid Head chapter in it, which fascinates me because, big spoilers. Throwing it out there now because I don't want us to get like angry mob at us.
Right.
In Silent Hill 2, you fight Pyramid Head is actually a personification of James's inner demons. So he's kind of like fighting himself.
Right.
So I'm curious, is like, we're gonna see the origin of how this creature is made. While we know the creature is James, I want to know what that means, because that you can interpret how this creature is made, or from his perspective, in a lot of ways. So it's interesting. We're gonna see gameplay from a creature that like has become the mascot of the franchise, and we're gonna see what exactly is the process of a creature being manifested into this world from you.
Right.
because all Silent Hill is about facing your demons and then them being manifested, giving physical forms.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Silent Hill 2. I mean, unfortunately, we still don't have a release date, but hey, we saw more of it, and that was good.
Right. Yeah. We still haven't known the release date, of course. That's true. It looks good. I'm not gonna play it because I'm just not a horror game guy in general. It would take something like, no, I can't even think about it. I wouldn't even say play a horror game. That's just not me.
All good.
Which isn't bad. I mean, the game looks good. I'll probably watch like the cutscenes on like YouTube because that's a thing now people do, and it's great. I did it for most of The Last of Us because I got sick of playing it. Part 2, mind you. But yeah, so it's gonna be good. I'm definitely excited about them. The next game though is from our guys at Ghost Story Games, the Judas from the BioShock team.
Oh,
Yeah.
that one. I already forgot the name.
See, exactly, because they're always known as the BioShock guys. But that game looks good. I'm curious. BioShock Infinite was great.
I'm hoping this thing keeps its like the spookiness from the first BioShock.
From the trailer I saw, it has the elements of it. They didn't show anything crazy, but I don't think it'll be as like eerie. But it'll be more. It looks more like a thriller than anything.
Which is fine as long as I still get some like atmosphere or spookiness to it, because that's what kind of got me hooked onto the first game. And I'm like, as long as it keeps that momentum of like a little spooky but more narrative, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Just a little spooky is all I'm asking for.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll have like more intense moments in the game, and there's going to be a lot of like things that'll make you question what's happening throughout the story. It looks like it's a very BioShock style game for sure, and that's definitely a good thing. So I hope that we can see more of it, and once we get an announcement or a release date, because as far as we know right now, there's not one at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's pretty much straightforward with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, though, you're gonna hate this one. It's Metro Awakening VR. Just let you sit on that one for a minute.
VR is getting more support. Yay.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I can't get excited for this thing. Like, I like the Metro series. I like the atmosphere they bring and everything, but just I'm not spending $500 on a headset.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not enough to push me for it. And this is no shade to the team. This is just me. VR is still not there for me.
Yeah, understandable. It is for a lot of people. Like VR right now is just it's in this spot where it's like, if you're like a tech person or a tech enthusiast who likes to game and you feel like you would want to try it. It's an expensive buy-in for sure. Oh my goodness, my stomach. It's an expensive buy-in, but there's fun aspects to it. Like there's a few VR games on this list we're going to talk about that are really decent looking. It's just that VR is just it's just not there yet for like mainstream.
It's still niche.
Yeah, it's still niche. It's still an investment. You have to know what you're getting. There's plenty of decent games on there to play, but there's just nothing that's just been like, console defining, because we consider VR, basically a separate console.
Yes. Might as well at this point.
Yeah, and I mean it has a price point of one, so we should. And it's just there hasn't been anything that's really like wowed people that didn't feel like a tech demo, or that was super short. They're just super generic. We have things like adaptions, like a Resident Evil 1 remake was not the remake, but the Village.
Yeah.
That game was really great in VR. Like it worked perfectly. But again, it's a tacked on feature that was brought in later after the game's release.
Yeah,
it wasn't a full on supported game. I think the best game right now for VR in general is just that Half-Life Alyx.
Alex?
Yeah. I don't even know if you can play that on the PSVR headset.
No, it's PC exclusive still, or whatever. It's just not on PlayStation as far as I know yet.
Yeah, and we're still just running into those problems where it's like there's just no support for it, and the risk for supporting it is just so high unless you have like a really big backer who's just willing to take the loss on it.
From what I understand too, there was a couple of VR studios who have been open and saying like, as much as we would like to like port this game over to VR 2, they see it as a financial like risk.
Yeah.
And when you have studios saying it's a financial risk that focus on VR games, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, and I mean every game is somewhat of a risk when you think about it, but it's like for VR, it's just so much more prevalent because they have to rely on the fact that if people are people buying the VR headsets to want to support this, and are they even interested in this game? So it's definitely high risk, high reward, but no one's broken the boundary of just been like, damn, everyone needs a VR headset for this game specifically. I bet you somebody like Call of Duty is going to do it, or somebody that's super left field is going to come out and just make it popular.
Something. There's going to be that one breakout game, but until then, right now, it's just very niche. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, in all honesty, I think the one person who could do it and it would be really sick for would be, if it has to be PlayStation exclusive, which would be awesome, but make a Gundam, some kind of Gundam mech game would be awesome, would be the shit.
I couldn't see it being exclusive because Gundam has been on everything at this point.
That's true.
Bandai Namco would probably be like, no, it's too much. It's too much of like a risk to make it exclusive.
Come on, they made worse for more.
They have, but like if I don't know, just it's hard. It's really hard.
It is. I mean, it's gonna be a high risk, high reward no matter what until someone solidifies.
Plus,
that VR is here.
I think too, like as big as Gundam is, it's still such a niche series.
I know, but the fan base will eat it up.
The fan base
if it's good.
Could, but it's hard.
Some group or like group of fans will have to like make it like really work and make it popular and really just spread the word about it.
We just need we just need some kind of mech genre that's actually super mainstream, and I think the closest you're gonna get to something like that would probably be Transformers, and even then that's
or Armored Core, because that gameplay looked phenomenal when I saw that game come out.
Oh yeah, it's more mainstream than it's ever been, Armored Core, but like still, like I don't think FromSoft would want to touch VR when they're doing fine on their own.
Yeah, but at some point, these studios are gonna look up and be like, "Damn, we've made every kind of game that we've wanted to in like over like the course of 10, 20 years. Okay, I think I'm done with Dark Souls style games, or I want to jump to something new, or the desire to want to do something new should always be there at some point."
You would think so, but the fact these guys have been rolling around with the same, that's gonna sound too broad, with a very similar, let's just call it that, a very similar style of games.
Yeah,
I think they're fine. I think that they're happy just where they're at. These guys are still blinded by success. When they heard like Armored Core sold this much, and they're like, really?
Like, oh,
they looked at you like you told a kid like he got an A on a report card after getting like nothing but like B's and C's, and like, neat.
Understandable. I mean, it happens. I don't blame them. But it's that's what it's going to take for someone to really make this thing work, though. I mean, because VR is fun. VR without a doubt is fun. It's good. It's a great idea and concept. It's just, and I don't think it'll ever get to the point where will replace like traditional gaming, with controller or TV.
Not in our generation. Not in our lifetime.
Not
at
in
least.
our generation. I think the tech is way too far. It's not caught up yet where it should be. When we get to the point where like the headset is like just a pair of glasses, then it'll start getting more.
Like by the time we're dead, we're gonna see people like. By the time we're dead, like they're gonna have like the fucking Sword Art Online or like dot hack shit.
Yeah, that's the real big change. I think that'll happen too. I hope not, because that's kind of scary when you think about it. Like Cyberpunk, always when I'm playing that game, and I always see people like using BDs and stuff. It's like, oof, like things that like the unsafe feeling that like anyone could just mess with you is just crazy. But I mean, we'll see. But let's get off of VR.
Yes, please.
And let's
I'm sorry.
I was just curious because we're kind of
no, you're good. I'm messing with you. Like I give VR shit, but I see that it's just like one of those things where it's niche. There's potential there, but it's just not for me right now.
Yeah, the next game's a lot more interesting. Dragon's Dogma 2. Now we've seen this game from Capcom
several times
and quite a bit in a lot of state of plays. Not a bad spot filler for sure, but as PlayStation has been doing this thing where they haven't had much to show off, so they've been kind of recycling a lot of stuff with some new footage here and there, which I feel like would stress out a company because they have to keep putting out a trailer or showing off stuff that they would want to wait for. But I mean, I don't know. I'm just a guy on the internet.
Who knows? That's business stuff at that point.
Yeah, but we did get a release date, which is awesome, March 22nd of this year. Which is pretty close, actually. More closer than I thought it would ever been.
Mm-hmm.
The game looks fantastic. I haven't really messed with Dragon Dogma 1. I want to try it. I haven't seen no like story trailer for this game yet, specifically.
As far as I know, we might have missed it. There was an event focusing on it.
Yeah,
I missed it, being honest. But I mean, the first game story, spoilers, it's like that movie Dragonheart.
Yeah.
It's like at least in linear with that movie story. So if you know it, you know it. The game also had a lot of Berserk inspiration from it, especially if you see some of the character designs. And hell, during the PS3 360 versions of those games, they even had like Berserk DLC that was going on with the Golden Age movies coming out at the time. But
Yeah.
it's fun. I like Dragon's Dogma. I think it's one of the first Western inspired RPGs that was made by a Japanese company, funny enough, that actually got me more interested in the genre.
Yeah.
And I'm very interested in Dragon Dogma 2, but I need to wrap up my play. I need to play and finish the first game still. I've started the game multiple times on multiple consoles. I just need to finish it.
Right. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious enough to go back to the first one and try it. As long as there's a good story there, I'm pretty much in. I'm pretty easy when it comes to satisfying with gameplay.
Yes.
In certain aspects, though, and others, not so much. Last of Us Part 2, mind you. But, yeah, so that looks good. I'm willing to try that game out. Capcom usually does pretty good on delivering stuff.
They hardly miss. The only time they miss is when they try to do a weird Resident Evil spin-off type game, and it's just kind of there as a bonus and not really the main attractors anyways.
Right. All right, next up is The Rise of the Ronin. Now, this game is pretty good. Team Ninja, of course. It's coming out this year. Same day as Dragon Dogma 2, actually, which is actually pretty funny.
That's an interesting release choice there.
That's an interesting pair to choose from. Dragon's Dogma 2 and Rise of the Ronin. That's a hard choice when you think about it.
I feel like I'm just predicting this now. If I'm wrong, oh well. But I feel like Dragon's Dogma 2 will still outsell Rise of the Ronin, if only because Dragon's Dogma is multi-plat.
I don't know. Oh, yeah. That could be work.
It's on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. It's gonna outsell it, but that's just like me throwing a needle in a haystack or some shit like that. That's it. Outside of that, I mean, Rise of the Ronin looks cool for what it is.
Yeah, I mean, Team Ninja always does really good. The Wulong game, of course, was pretty awesome. Had its few little hiccups here and there, of course, but I mean, it's Koei Tecmo, you know what you expect. Sometimes they're not. I'm not gonna say they're the worst polishing people at games, but they also do slack in some aspects. But for the most part, they usually deliver a pretty solid experience.
Koei has that charm to it,
they do. They're like rough and gritty, like people like that about them, and it's not a bad thing. But I just feel like for this game, I think they're gonna have their work cut out for them with Dragon Dogma 2. This is something that's been waiting on. People have been waiting on it. People have been hoping to get it. It's been hyped a perfect amount, not too much, but just enough to keep people interested.
I mean, when they first revealed it, that guy just took off his button-up shirt just to reveal it, and that broke Twitter for a little bit. So yeah.
And then don't get me wrong, Rise of the Ronin looks great, but compared to Dragon Dogma 2, with all that history, it's like, oof, you're beating a sequel that people are anticipating. That's kind of hard. Yeah, I'd be shocked, but the game looks great. Of course, it's a Koei Tecmo game, so it's going to be set in the Warring States period, or the Bakumatsu era.
Yes, it was around that time where like Japan was starting to get introduced to like guns and stuff.
Yeah, and the gameplay looks solid. Of course, grappling hook, always great, because grappling hooks in games are always awesome no matter what game you play. I got a lot of different vibes from this game. I got some Wulong vibes. I got some nice Ninja Gaiden here and there from certain enemies and stuff.
A little bit of Assassin's Creed, just a little bit.
And that's Assassin's Creed. Only with the way you traverse stuff.
Yeah, that's what I said. Teeny bit.
Yeah, and of course the art style has some of that Western aspects in it, since this period in time, of course. I'm definitely interested. I'm definitely gonna get both. Definitely want to try them. Rise of the Ronin, I feel like I know what I'm getting more of than I do with Dragon's Dogma, but Dragon's Dogma is more of like a curiosity I want to look at, or mess with, and the flair, of course, too, as well. But yeah, definitely, those should be definitely interesting games. Next up is not one I'm not super surprised to see, but I'm also kind of glad it's coming. Is Until Dawn Remaster.
I thought the first game was all right. Like, what am I saying? The first game, when it first came out, it was all right. Sorry, the hunger is getting to me now, but it's all right. I mean, this is a more appropriate remaster because at least this one's close to 10 years old compared to the other remasters we've been getting from Sony, which is like 3, 5.
And mind you, there's no release date yet for this yet. So, but I mean, people loved Until Dawn. It was a pretty solid.
It's a cult classic.
Yeah, people who love horror games are gonna love this game.
Yeah,
and the fact that it's getting remastered is good. Means people are still interested in their games, and as far as I know, I think they had another one out right now, like
the Dark Pictures games. Those funny enough, this is the second time that's happened with Sony. So Bandai Namco, this is like the second time they bought a Sony studio to make games for them. So
right,
first time did it is when they got Demon Souls, and then Bandai bought, or at least contracted FromSoft to make Dark Souls after that. And then Until Dawn came out, and then Bandai bought them to make like those Dark Pictures anthology games. It's like funny how this had repeated itself twice.
Oh heck yeah, it's definitely interesting. I mean, it's Until Dawn. I don't think there's gonna be anything new. It's just gonna look better.
Maybe a couple new endings at best, but who knows? Just if you like Until Dawn, cool. We're gonna get Until Dawn.
I wonder what the price is gonna be for this game.
No comment, because I don't know what that. I just hit me with like, hold up, wait, how much is this gonna cost?
As far as I know, it was a PS4 game, and then so it should be same PS4 price.
Yes,
I'll be fine with that. It's new.
40, 50, perfect. 60, 70.
I wonder how long until we see this game on PlayStation Plus. Just saying, but
6 months.
That's about 7, 8. It depends on when it comes out too.
Yeah, that's true.
Or it's supposed to be this year, but we just don't know.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so next game in this state of play that wasn't super duper awesome again. Death Stranding 2. We've seen it a few times now, not as much as other games, but it's been there here and there. What are your thoughts? I've messed around a little bit with the first one, and I've seen a lot of gameplay of it. I wasn't feeling it.
Like from my statement from earlier, the first game, I had interest in the first game a lot. And then I saw the gameplay, and it just didn't appeal to me. I know people say it gets better later on, but right. I'm sorry, I can't give a game more than like if something says it's got to take like 10 hours before it gets good. I can't. This one looks more interesting because it looks like they took a lot of complaints from the first game and added more combat and action segments into it.
Yeah.
So that way Kojima can have his weird narrative and still get people's attention. But this one just like... This one got my interest more. I just hope there's actually more things to do outside of the joke that the first one was a walking sim and...
Right.
I'm sorry. It just looked too drab for me to like really invest in. No, I'm sure
you're good.
It won its awards and things, and it's fine. But I can't. I don't care for it. The first one, at least.
Yeah, I think if that game had won Game of the Year when it released, it would have been a big statement. But it was just such a weird game. Story, of course, is completely irrelevant in this aspect because Kojima always does pretty good stories, and I'm sure if you just go watch the cutscenes like on YouTube, like a movie for like a style, it'll be decent. That's what I plan to do for that game because I'm not going to bother playing it. I like Kojima in his games for the most part, but this was definitely just super out of my wheelhouse. I didn't think it was bad looking or anything. I love that Norman Reedus is in it. And, of course, he's coming back for the sequel. But it's just so bizarre. I don't know what's going on yet. And the gameplay, I just didn't care for. The package delivering thing was just kind of meh. The traversing, it was kind of cool. I did love the aspects of where, like, you see where like other players were and where they leave behind and everything to help you like get through things. That was cool. But aside from that, I'm like, come on, we need a little bit more for this. This world's a little too grim and dim, to be just walking around delivering stuff and connecting.
The game itself felt like it was designed to have its own cult audience, and there's nothing wrong with that. You got games like Deadly Premonition and fucking Michigan Ride something. It was like a Michigan. There's a game that has Michigan in its name, and it's like a horror game. But there's all these games that have like these cult followings. And once you saw the aftermath of like what happened with Death Stranding, you can tell that there is a dedicated cult for this game, and that is fine. I'm not a part of it though.
Yeah, without a doubt. I would love to jump in like a group of like fans who love this game to see like what's the hype? What's the hype in it with where at, or like what are they doing right now in this game, like today?
And do they still replay it? Like genuinely, do they still replay it? Like, or is this literally a one and done for you?
Yeah, because for like Tales fans, it's like when we go like we have a bunch of groups, on Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff. So we're just generally talking about the games and the ones we like and posting cool art and stuff like that. I'm curious as to what a Death Stranding group, like fan group, would do in that instance. Like what are they posting about? Like what's popular in that group? Or like
what have you guys been doing the past almost nearly 10 years, maybe 5, maybe that's too much, but like that's how long it feels ago for me. It feels like it's almost been 10 years, but I'm pretty sure it's like I'm probably hell overshooting that.
Really though. Yeah, so it's interesting. I'm definitely, it's one of the better games, of course, too. There was a lot of duds in this game, and it's just stuff we've already seen a bunch of times. Helldivers 2, mind you. that aren't bad, but it's just we've seen them so much in this state of play. I really hope Sony is just building up to something, because if they don't hit something this year, and I know we always talk about it and complain and you always hear about it, but right now Sony is not in a great spot where it needs to be. Bungie's not doing their thing for them right now. They're suffering their issues. Sony's got all this competition with Xbox. Xbox is killing it. Persona 3 Reload is on the way. Man, they need something though. But we'll leave it at that. I'm not gonna rant about it. Is there anything you wanted to get off your chest before we end this?
Guess who I am? Before we go, us at PlayStation would like to remind you that we're going to have one more State of Play. It will be returning on February 6th to bring you more news on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah. Is that... I swear, dude, if that event is just Final Fantasy Rebirth...
No, that's exact... No, they said it. The lady herself said it. It's a dedicated event just for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Look.
This is what I was fearing about with State of Plays.
Look. Everybody's hyped for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Apex Legends just did a big-ass crossover with Final Fantasy VII.
Literally.
Like, you don't need to show more. It ended the Game Awards last year. It ended the fucking... That one, the Summer Game Fest, whatever.
Yeah, with an amazing trailer, by the way.
There's so much we've seen. Just stop. Just let the game come out. It's gonna dominate. It doesn't need all this extra attention on itself.
Right. I mean, it's good advertisement, but that just goes to show you like what's the biggest thing out for them right now, and it's Final Fantasy VII.
Third-party game.
Yeah, mind you, now that I have all this extra free time, I'm probably gonna start Final Fantasy VII Part 1 pretty soon.
You'll beat it quick.
I'm pretty sure I will.
No, not even like joking about like your free time. You're just gonna beat it quick.
Oh yeah, I think yesterday when I was watching through the Last of Us cutscenes, it was like 9 hours. I watched the whole thing in like a sitting, and I was like, I should go do something. I should go make some videos, because Jesus. Yeah, a lot of the time wasted. Hopefully we get out more stuff, of course, and we'll talk about more State of Plays, and when the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth one happens the next week, we'll be there.
Sorry to cut you. There's just one game I kind of want to give a shout out to that I saw earlier this morning. Like it was outside of PlayStation and all this stuff. Just really quick before we wrap it up. Mm-hmm. Roommate of mine showed me a game, and it was called Chef RPG, and it was cute. It was a really cute game. I'll show you the trailer for it afterwards, and once we get closer to the game's release date, I'll even like tell you how it is. If there's hopefully there's a demo, but it reminds me a lot of like Stardew Valley, and kind of like a golf story, where it's a very chef managed restaurant management game. But there's a lot of RPG elements to it. Like you got to go out to the wild, get your ingredients, build your home, build your restaurant, things like that. It's like this is actually really cute.
Yeah.
Like for like a cute like $20-$30 game probably, I would actually play this.
So weird seeing you use the word cute.
Like
it's funny now that you mentioned that. There was one game I was going to ask you about. I forgot to. What's your thoughts on Pal World? Everyone I know right now is playing it. So
I want nothing to do with that game, and not even to do with like the Pokemon fan. I've told you how hard I've like criticized Game Freak and shit like that. I'm just
right.
It's more like the environment regarding the fan, like both sides of people. One side is crazy, the other side is crazy. I'm fucking done. I don't want to see anything with this game because I've seen so much toxicity. I've actually muted it on my like social media stuff. I don't want to see it anymore.
Are you interested in like playing it at all? Or
not anymore. The internet ruined it.
That sucks.
Like, have you ever been bombarded with so much media of the same shit going back and forth, accusing it, defending it, accusing it, defending it, and I'm just like,
yes,
I'm done. I'm so fucking done with it.
Yeah, it happens all the time when I see certain games. Like, or just shit develop, or what do you call it? Whenever IGN pops up, I don't even bother reading the comments half the time. Cause I've been a real big fan of IGN for like the longest, so that I just use them for like my news feed and stuff a lot. So, but whenever I look at the comments, I just see memes and people just talking shit about them. And rightly so. I mean, they goof up some stuff sometimes pretty badly, so I'm not gonna sit here and get into that, but yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But I'm curious. I'll try a little bit of it. I'm not gonna get into it. I don't really like Pokemon myself, but
yeah,
I'm curious enough to try it. I covered it like a few months back too on one of our list videos.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, and I was like, oh wow, this game's finally come out. I should probably do a video about it.
I think you'll like it because it's not. I'll say this from my understanding before I got tired of it. The game is not like Pokemon. Like, the only thing that's closely relatable to Pokemon is you capture things on a ball. Yeah. Outside of that, it's its own thing. It's this weird Frankenstein of like games you've played before doing its own thing.
Oh yeah, it's like some survival game, and that's what's in right now. Survival games. Before it was battle royale. Now it's survival.
Yep.
Which isn't bad. I mean, It's a cool genre. Never been to and do it myself, but we'll see what happens.
Yes, sir.
Well, until the next time of our next State of Play coverage, we might talk about Final Fantasy VII. It depends on how long this event is, honestly. But, yeah, hopefully we got another video coming out. I'm working on another list video. Trying to make that one more focused. Of course, we're messing around with some things here and there. Just don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if we did anything wrong or got anything wrong, of course. We're always open to criticism, good or bad. And, yeah, let us know how you feel about all the announcements coming out of Sony right now. Till next time.
Peace.